Hey everybody, welcome back to the Miser's Guide to Evony. This video is going to be a little bit different than some of the ones in the past. This is actually a resource video. There's a tool that I made for you to use to plan your generals with gear. And I'm going to give you an idea of how it works, show you some of the things that you can be doing with it, and well, just talk about it in general. You'll find the link to it in the comments to this video. If you do go there, make sure that, or you have actually downloaded it in the past, take a look at the version number. It's 1.01 at the time of this recording, but if I made any mistakes in some of the numbers in the programming, then it's possible that the version number has changed. So just make sure you have the most updated copy of this. To get your own copy that you can actually edit, you click File and Make a Copy. Otherwise, you won't be able to do anything except look at this beautiful picture of Empress Dowager Cixi, who is, fantastic to look at, but it's probably not why you are here. On the left side of the screen, I have these boxes that I tried to make look similar, at least, to what you'd see in games. So you have weapon, armor, boots, helm, leg armor, and ring. And those, if you click the drop down, have a list of the different armors that you could put on. I decided to go with only Dragon, Aries, and Echemenidae because really, if you're making anything lower than that, then it's not really a long-term kind of solution. So I just kept it simple with those options. The checkbox at the bottom is checked if you are using your general as a wall general or something that you're going to reinforce another player with. The reason that that needs to exist is because some of the buffs that you have on gear have to do with in-city attack, defense, or HP, and then some other ones are marching, which means only when you're actually marching from your city at another player. So depending on how you're using your general, make sure that is clicked or unclicked. I'm going to unclick it for the purpose of this because I am going to talk about a PvP general that I'm going to be using to march on other players. This also does include all of the set bonuses for Aries and Echemenidae and Dragon and all that. So everything is actually in here too, and that's why some of the numbers will fluctuate even if the gear pieces don't necessarily reflect exactly that number. So for example, if you get to like 3-piece, or what is it, 2-piece? 3-piece of, I don't know, something, let's say Aries, you're going to notice a bigger jump in some, or is it 4-piece? I don't know. You're going to notice a bigger jump at some places, depending on what you decide to outfit on your general. So for example, the 8-piece of Aries is you get a march size capacity increase, which you see right there is reflected. It also takes into account your march speed of monsters. All that information is included here for you, as well as enemy troop buff reductions. All right, so I'm going to give you a quick example of setting up Minamoto, who I've already kind of set up. So Minamoto is a PvP general that is archer based, and I would use him for attacking other players, not for putting on my wall. So I want to make sure that this is not clicked. I'm going to start off with just random Aries because the Echemenidae is more for defensive troop reduction. Aries is more marching, which I know, so I'm going to start off with Aries. But even for Aries, you have to recognize that there are two different types. There's courageous and there's fearless. And for those of you that don't know, Dragon Armor is the kind of like the starting place of Aries, which you will upgrade to Aries when you unlock certain parts of the game. So if you don't have those unlocked, you might be stuck with Dragon for now, which might actually be a reduction. But when you get to the next level, when you unlock the Aries upgrade, then you can turn that Dragon into the Aries piece. One more thing before I really get underway here is this does not take into account refinement. So if you do have to put some Dragon gear on, that's fine in a limited capacity, because Dragon gear has a lower cap to refining. It does not get to the same level that Aries and Echemenidae do. So don't waste all of your refining on Dragon gear. Wait until you get the Aries equivalent of it, or use the Echemenidae. God, that word is so hard to say sometimes. Okay, so I'm looking at Minamoto here. I'm definitely going to use an Aries bow, and there's only Aries bow, and there's only one option. I could use Achaemenid, but that would be more defensive generally. So I'm going to go with Aries, simply because the 8-piece march size capacity is pretty huge, and I want to make sure that that is active. The two options for my armor are Fearless and Courageous. So if I look at Courageous, I can take a look at my ranged, because he is a ranged general. So I got 104 attack, 0 defense, and 22 HP increase. What happens if I put on Fearless? It's actually looking like it's a decrease. So I'm going to go back to Courageous Aries. And even if I don't have that unlocked, I could make the Dragon Courageous, and then I could upgrade it to Aries later on. So at least I know ahead of time what I'm going to be doing. Let's take a look at boots. Boots, I have Courageous Aries on right now. What happens if I put Fearless? It looks like the attack and HP stay the same, but I actually got an increase, or sorry, the attack and defense stay the same, but I got an increase in hit points for my ranged. And I really only care about range because it's my ranged attacker. So I'm going to leave Fearless on there. My Helm, I'm starting off with Courageous just as a tester. Got 104, 0, and 44. Let me put on Fearless and see how that looks. It looks like it was a decrease, so, right? Courageous was a decrease? No, Fearless was a decrease. What did I just do? Courageous and Fearless. Okay, looks like Fearless is the way to go. And check out the leg armor. I have Courageous on right now, and let's check out Aries. Looks like Courageous Aries was the way to go. And lastly, my rings, I have Courageous Aries, which gives me 126, 044, and I have Fearless, which is 156, 044, and it also gives me an increase in my march size capacity again. So this would be likely my setup for gear, unrefined gear, that I would use on Minamoto just from playing around with things. You might, for example, on a wall general, it might look a little different. You might decide to have Achaemenid in there. You might even be mixing and matching, like 3-piece and 3-piece, or I don't know. You'd have to play around with it a little bit and adjust it to whatever you need. For the wall general and stuff, you might also want to consider a little bit more, put a little more priority on troop buff reductions as well as increasing your unrefined equipment troop buffs. I hope that this was helpful and it's a useful tool to you. Remember to subscribe and like, and definitely share this resource to other people so that they can make use of it. And that's about all I have for you in this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, or go ahead and ask in Discord as well, and I can answer them there. Thank you for watching.